Because investments in, like I said earlier, investments in Cayman Islands and British Virgin Islands eventually they went to other destinations. So I excluded those two from discussion, so we can get a more actual situation about China's investment in Latin America. As you can see, China's bilateral trade with Latin America was nearly 4% of China's total trade in 2006. But China's FDI stock in 2006 in Latin America is less than 1% of China's total FDI stock. And only 3 countries in Latin America, Brazil, Peru, Mexico, had stock of in excess of $100 million. So this is not commensurate with our fast-growing trade and economic relationship. I do not have the detailed breakdown of the specific industries where Chinese companies have made investments in each country. But as I mentioned before, the Chinese government did publish the catalog for the country-specific and industry-specific guidance for outbound investment. The specific sectors listed in each country is mainly determined by a number of factors, including China's comparative advantage, the FDI policy and market characteristics of host countries. And so I think the Chinese companies may have already made investments in these recommended areas or are expected to make investments in the future. Again, I listed these recommended areas for a selected number of Latin American countries. And Chile was listed on the bottom row of the next table. As you can see, we divided different sectors by the main groups of industries: agriculture, mining, manufacturing, services. And Chinese government recommended investment in Chile, in fishery, copper, and electrical equipment and appliances, food processing machinery, toy products, food products, and trade and distribution services. So we encourage investment in all the major sectors. Oops. Although the investment so far in Latin America has been very small, but I believe there's a great potential for future growth. First of all, China's need and capacity for outbound investment is growing. During the last 8 years, China's trade and GDP doubled less than 8 years, and China's foreign exchange reserve exceeded $1.8 trillion. So how to increase the return and diversify the risks of such huge amount of foreign reserve is a great challenge facing China. And at the same time, Chinese, although we're known for a low-cost producer exporter, but China's cost of production, land and labor are rising fast. So Chinese companies must change their strategy to succeed and compete in international markets. And many Chinese companies have also become more experienced and sophisticated in the international markets. So I believe China needs to and is ready to make more foreign investment. And also I believe there is greater investment opportunities in developing countries, including Latin America. In recent years, because of continued high growth rates, developing countries play a more and more important role in the world economy. According to the latest estimates from IMF, despite the financial crisis, the emerging economies can still grow 6.7% annually in 2008 and 2009, compared to only 1.3% in developed countries. So many developing countries, including those in South America, are net commodity exporters, and therefore have benefited from the recent price surge in commodity prices. So whether in the short run or in the long term, I believe developing countries will provide a much better investment opportunity for China. And also, there's a fast improving economic and trade relations between China and Latin America. China's trade with Latin America exceeded China's trade with the whole world. For example, between 2003 and 2006, China's total trade grew by 107%, but China's trade with Latin America grew by a stunning 162%. And also the establishment of FTA has also been a feature of China and Latin America relationship. We have successfully signed FTA with Chile, and we are currently negotiating FTA with Peru, and we have also recently completed a joint study, feasibility study, FTA study with Costa Rica. And lastly, I'd like to make some suggestions for increasing China's investment in, Latin America. Spelling error. First of all, I think we should expand FTAs and bilateral investment treaties because these are an institutional arrangement made between two trade partners. The signing of such agreement is itself an important indication of the political will for the two sides to strengthen cooperation. And a more important function of FTA and bilateral investment treaty is the creation of a favorable environment to reinforce the confidence of business enterprises to carry out investment and business activities. And secondly, I think we should go beyond traditional channels of FDI. FDI is only a small part of the international capital flow today, and China, because we have such huge amount of foreign reserve, we have recently set up our own sovereign wealth fund, China Investment Corporation, with $200 billion in capital. And it is looking for portfolio investment and portfolio investment opportunities in promising companies and investment funds. I think Latin America should take advantage of this opportunity. And also, because many Latin American countries have higher GDP per capita than China, so I think service sector may actually offer more opportunities for Chinese companies. So we need to really be creative and go beyond traditional channels of FDI. And thirdly, I think we should do more to assist small and medium-sized enterprises, because in every country, small and medium-sized enterprises are the engine of employment growth. But they are also most vulnerable to business and political risks when investing overseas, and they lack necessary resources to do market research. So I think both the governments and business organizations should play an active part in promoting investment in Latin America to small and medium enterprises in China. Even though one company may be small, but collectively they can make a big difference. And lastly, there are a number of investment facilitation measures we can do to help making investment and doing business in Latin America a lot easier for Chinese companies. For example, increase more direct flights between China and Latin America that can make business travel more convenient and less costly, and more relaxed visa requirements will encourage more business people to visit, and increase transparency in regulations and make it more accessible to Chinese investors. And we should also train more bilingual speakers by providing more, such as providing more scholarship to students. And like I said earlier, we don't have enough qualified personnel, so language barrier can be a problem. So there are many things we can do. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.